All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're back on the California Winter League YouTube channel for the second game of our doubleheader as the Oregon Lumberjacks will do battle with the British Columbia Bombers. I'm Evan Schmeiser, joined by Joey Senna. In a very quick first game of our doubleheader as the Canada Ace took down the Palm Springs Power 5-0. So we're back at it just about 15 minutes early for first pitch. Very comfortable 70-degree day here at Palm Springs Stadium. And Joey, we're going to see, frankly, if the Bombers are going to be able to slow down the red-hot Lumberjacks, winners of their last 4 games, and delivered a thumping to the Power just a day ago for Rancho Mirage Day by a score of 15-1.
Yes, we do have to remember, though, they were facing non-traditional pitchers. They were facing position players on the mound. So, yes, it was a huge show out for the Lumberjacks offense, but we can't take too much credit away from the Power.
Well, Mark Berryman draws the start for the Bombers. There was a fastball inside to Luke Churchill's. We're underway. It's Luke Churchill followed by Champ Garner, Shinichiro Ishida, Jeff Heinrich, Daniel Mata, Andrew Puglielli. That ball's on the ground. Fielded by one hop by the third baseman Matthew Holliday over the first. 2 pitches results in and out. We're underway at Palm Springs Stadium. Just to conclude the Lumberjacks lineup, Andrew Puglielli bats 6, Luke Fenley hits 7th, Ronald Jackson bats 8, and Scott Gomes will get the start behind the plate, batting 9th for the Lumberjacks. Champ Garner digs in the right-handed batter's box. Mark Berryman, this will be the 4th game he's pitched in, 3rd start overall. Swing at the first pitch and fouling that back into the seats to the right side is Garner as it cracks around the bleachers a few times. Berryman's gone 9 innings over his 4 outings, 13 total strikeouts, only 1 walk, and just scattering 9 hits.
Berryman is working very quickly to start the game, gets the ball back from Fullerton, and is ready to go.
He's one of those guys, gets it, give me my sign because I'm ready. That ball's out to the third baseman Holiday again. Gets it on the big hop, fires over the first, dug out nicely by Tanner White.
Tanner White just saved Holiday an error right there. A great dig from the dirt.
That'll bring up Shinichiro Ishida. Gets the start batting in the 3rd spot today. Also playing first base. It'll be a righty on lefty matchup.
Let's take a look at the defense behind Berryman. On the right side of the infield, White, the first baseman, who just made a great play. Bishop's playing at second. On the left side is Snowden and Holiday, the third baseman, who's recorded both outs to start the game. Fullerton's behind the plate. And left to right in the outfield is Bruce, Sholifin, and Hurd.
Ishida takes a fastball on the outside corner. He's behind 0-1. Tries another fastball, and that one misses outside. 1-1 the count. Ishida 2 for 10 with a double and a single RBI to his credit. This will be the 5th game he's played in. The 1-1 check swing, and it misses a little inside. So it briefly backs Ishida out of the batter's box. We had a light breeze for our first game. At the moment, the flags are still in center field. The breaking ball stays outside. 3-1 the count.
One thing the Lumberjacks have done during this 4-game win streak, they're now 5-2 in first place, is take advantage of free passes, walks, being hit by a pitch, or other teams' errors.
That stays outside again. Ball 4. Ishida draws a 2-out walk. Give the red-hot Lumberjacks a base runner. So that'll bring up Jeff Heinrich. He'll draw the start at shortstop. Heinrich 4 for 16. No RBIs, no extra base hits to his credit. Well, about this time with a man on first with 2 outs, that being Ishida, who has not attempted a stolen base, but he has a good-sized lead. The first pitch is way outside and corralled by Fullerton.
We have to remember in yesterday's matchup, too, for the Oregon Lumberjacks, Jared Dingus pitched tremendous. On the hill, he was only allowed 4 hits, 1 earned run. He recorded 6 strikeouts over 5 1/3 innings.
That's a good point, is that breaking ball's in there for a strike. But if offensive outbursts like that, a solid pitching performance can very easily be kind of lost in the weeds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shorter lead this time for Ishida. That pitch is swung on and missed. And it looks like, Ishida forgot the count over at first. And so he took off to second initially and then ended up stopping as the pitch was swung on and missed for what would have been strike 2. And he's tagged out at second. It goes down as a caught stealing. And that does retire the side in order here in the top of the first. In just a moment, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see the Bombers take their first swings in the bottom of the first inning on the California Winter League YouTube. Welcome back to the California Winter League YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Evan Schmeiser, joined by Joey Senna. The Bombers just about set to take their first at-bats. We'll take a look at their lineup real quick. Jordan Schulfen leads off as the center fielder. Dalton Bishop will hit second. Tanner White will be the third man in the order. Matthew Holliday will hit cleanup. Steve Snowden bats fifth. Harrison Fullerton will bat sixth behind the plate. Aaron Hurd will hit seventh. Scout Knotts, the designated hitter, will bat eighth. And Vincent Bruce will be the ninth man rounding out the order. They'll be doing battle against the tall lefty Matt Millett. He is not in the California Winter League. He's a local guy, staying in shape, still playing ball in the area. We did see him pitch a week ago as a very strong resemblance to Justin Verlander. Some guys in the clubhouse surely call him left-handed Verlander.
Yep.
The first pitch fastball ends up hitting Schulfen right on the bottom of his leg towards the shin area. Well, he takes a moment to get his shin guard off, and he'll trot over the first. Painful way, albeit, but a leadoff base runner for the Bombers.
This is what the defense looks like behind Millett. Ishida at first base, Jackson at second. On the left side, Heinrich in the sixth hole, and Puglielli on the hot corner. Puglielli, a great defender over there at third. Scott Combs is behind the plate. And the outfield from left to right is Gardner, Fennelly, and Churchill. We've seen Luke Fennelly play left field, center field now, and usually he's at shortstop.
Taking high for ball one is Dalton Bishop. There goes the run from first. Pitch taken for a strike. The throw down, nowhere near in time. It comes in on a hop and skips off the leg. The second baseman Jackson, backed up by Heinrich. Stolen base for Schulfen. Puts a man on second base with nobody out for the Bombers, who are trying to win their second game in a row after beating the Blue Sox 2-1 just a couple days ago. See if Bishop and the Bombers able to manufacture a run in a scoreless ball game in the bottom of the first. That's at the knees.
Dalton Bishop is 4 for 14 to start the CWL. He scored 3 runs. He's hitting .286 and has yet to record an RBI.
A lot of room on the right side as the second baseman Jackson keeps the runner close. Breaking ball, and that's hit foul back to the screen at home plate.
If he's able to get a hit here, most likely able to pick up his first RBI on the season here with nobody out in the first inning.
Bombers would absolutely love to try and take momentum away from a red-hot Lumberjacks team who have looked like world beaters over their past 4 games. Here's the 1-2. The runner goes again. Fastball swung on a miss. Throw to third. Nowhere near in time once again. Second stolen base of the inning for Jordan Schulfen. Puts a man on third, now with one out, with Bishop going down on strikes.
Millett is now searching for a strikeout here with the runner on third base and only one out, or some kind of other unproductive out. Or the British Columbia Bombers are going to get on the board early here in the first.
Tanner White digs in the left-handed batter's box. Big man, to say the least. Tall match, but a tall pitcher and a tall hitter. Lefty on lefty. The corner's playing even with the bags. Fastball's taken on the outside corner for a strike. They're going to concede a run in the middle of the infield. One out, bottom of the first inning. Schulfen over at third after being hit by a pitch, stealing second and third. Curveball and a good one. 0-2 the count.
Millett getting ahead. Now he's able to throw anything. There is pressure on Combs behind the plate to keep everything in front of him. If something gets past him, Shula fans scoring easily from third.
White looking for his second RBI of the season, staring down an 0-2 count. That fastball's way outside 1-2. The Lumberjack outfield playing relatively straight up. The left fielder, Champ Garner, actually the deepest of all three. Breaking ball's on the line. Past the diving Ishida in the right field for a base hit. Schulfen will trot home. Tanner White aboard. Second RBI of the season. It's 1-0. Bombers in the bottom of the first inning.
Nice piece of hitting there from Tanner White. 2 strikes. He's not swinging out of his shoes. He's protecting, and he's able to get a base hit into right field.
Now it's Matthew Holliday. A left-on-right match to be 7 for 16 with a double, a home run, 4 RBIs as White is picked off. Gets caught in the middle after Millett throws over, and applying the tag is Jeff Heinrich. Well, that'll retire him. 2 outs now with nobody on base in the bottom of the first. That'll have to go down as a caught stealing for White. Just got him lunging and caught in the middle with the lefty move.
We're not even through one full inning, and we've already seen 2 mistakes by both teams on the base path.
Mill and the Lumberjacks will gladly take it. First pitch to Holiday, swings the first pitch, fouls that one back and over the bleachers to the right side.
Attention fans, remember to bring those foul balls to the third base concession stand to receive a free bag of popcorn.
Throw back to Millett, got away for just a moment. Had to go and retrieve it. Now he's back on the rubber. He's set to go. An 0-1 count to Holiday with 2 outs, nobody on base. The Lumberjacks trailing 1-0. That's off the hands and into the screen, 0-2.
Like you said, Holiday 7 for 16. That's a 438 average. That's the best on the British Columbia Bombers. That's why he's in the 4 spot today.
He's picked up his share of big hits for them. Here's the 0-2. It's a fastball that stays high.
Millett's doing a nice job getting ahead in the count to these batters, just unable to come away with that put-away pitch to get strikeouts.
I mean, that's what you have to do against a tough lineup like the Bombers. That misses outside 2-2. Get ahead, stay ahead. Waiting on deck is Steve Snowden. Here's the 2-2 to Holiday. Fastball once popped up on the infield. Ronald Jackson makes the call, and he puts it away just off of the outfield grass. That retires the side. We're through 1 full at Palm Springs Stadium. The Bombers able to strike first, thanks to Jordan Schulfen stealing 2 bases and Tanner White's big RBI single. We'll be right back for the top of the second, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Just about set for the top of the second inning. Will be the heart of the lineup for the Lumberjacks. Jeff Heinrich, Daniel Mata, and Andrew Puglielli. Heinrich was at the plate when Shinichiro Ishida was thrown out trying to steal second base, also forgetting the count. So he'll dig back in as he takes a fastball high 1-0.
Heinrich from Lake in the Hills, Illinois. He was selected in the 40th round of the 2019 MLB first-year draft by San Francisco.
And he's ahead in the count 2-0. The Lumberjacks, they try and get on the board, trailing 1-0 to the Bombers, able to pick up an early run in their half of the first. Thanks to Schulfin's base running and White's RBI single. Swing and a miss, 2-1.
Berryman loves to work as quick as he can. He's waiting for the batter to step back in.
Outball said high in the air to straightaway left. Shielding his eyes from the sun is Bruce. Now he goes back on it, and he makes the over-the-shoulder catch. Just a few steps shy of the track. Got him played pretty well over towards the line and able to win the battle against the sun.
Bruce doing a nice job keeping his concentration, following that ball all the way into his mitts through the tough sun. He's looking up there again like, did I do it right? Yes, I did.
We had a few reactions from a pretty good crowd here at Palm Springs Stadium as they could see Bruce kind of stumbling a little bit. And, wow, that bat goes shattering past the pitcher's mound. Picked up by Snowden, and he ends up kicking the ball as he tries to pick it up on the run. My, oh, my. For the second consecutive game, we see a bat break and the barrel of the bat go flying out towards the pitcher's mound. It's an infield hit single for Mata. My goodness. First hit of the game for the Lumberjacks. Andrew Puglielli will dig in. Getting the start at third base. He bats the man on first and 1 out. Short lead for Mata. He doesn't run all that well. Fastball in the inside corner, strike 1.
Puglielli yesterday went 3 for 4 with 6 RBIs, and he hit a 3-run home run in yesterday's game.
He was one of the big men in that blowout as that's down in the way 1-1.
Puglielli and the Oregon Lumberjacks very hot as of late. 4-game winning streak, going from last place to first place.
The Bombers will set up to turn 2 with a 1-1 count, 1 out. Mata at first. Their Jacks trailing 1-0 to the Bombers, and that's down and away 2-1.
We've also seen Puglielli flash his glove at third base. Great defender.
He's been impressive. He's been a very consistent anchor on the left side of that infield. Longer looking from Berryman. He deals the 2-1, and that's in the dirt 3-1.
Flashes the leather and shows off his arm strength a bunch of times at that hot corner. He's an all-around great player.
Well, he's definitely been consistent, and that's what you need.
Yeah, that's all.
Consistent guy in the middle of that order.
That's all you can ask for in the diamond.
Lineup for the Lumberjacks coming into today, hitting .308. That'll do. That's off the hands, out to shallow center field. Sullivan on the run, and he makes a nice grab, charging in. He fires back the first, and the ball goes right towards the Lumberjack dugout. Mata, poor base running on his part, was taken off to second as if they were either 2 outs or like he was sure the ball was going to drop.
Yeah, he should have gone thrown out at first base if that was a good throw from Schulafand, who just overthrew wide at first base. But like you said, not great base running, and Mata should have been out at first base, and it should have been the end of the inning.
Well, a break for him and the Lumberjacks. He probably would have been out by a good 4 steps, but I think that throw might have been, well, let me see. I think Tanner White might have had to triple his size in order to catch that ball.
Yeah, it sailed on Schulafand in center field. He wish he had it back to double up Mata.
And now it's Luke Fenley batting with 2 outs and the man on first. He takes inside.
Luke,
Fenley, his line will do, hitting .611.
There's a lot to say about him.
Overall, a double, a triple, 4 RBIs. So that misses a little outside 2-0. Yeah, that'll do.
He's leading the CWL in hits right now. 6'11" is his batting average.
Could use a pop with 2 outs. He's out in front of a fastball. It comes up empty, 2-1.
Also a great defender. We've seen him all over the place. Super utility player.
Here's the 2-1 from Berryman. Fastball. That catches the outside corner, 2-2.
He kind of reminds me of Kike Hernandez or something. He'll play in the infield, he'll play in the outfield, and wherever he plays, he'll give his best effort and do a good job.
Hey, if his career turns out like Kike Hernandez, I think he'll be a very happy man too. Here's the 2-2. It's a fastball. That ball's hit on a rope. In the right center field, it's going to drop in there for a base hit. Over to get it is Schulafin. Going to third is Mata, and he'll get in there standing. Going to second on the throw is Fennelly. Puts men on second and third with 2 outs for the Lumberjacks.
Well, like I said, the Lumberjacks have taken advantage of errors and have taken advantage of free passes. Well, we had an error from Schulafan. I guess you wouldn't call it an error. But when he should have gone Mata out at first base, that would have ended the inning. And now the Lumberjacks have an opportunity to score a run here, maybe even 2 to take the lead.
Fastball is way inside to the 8th man, Ronald Jackson. This will be Jackson's 6th game, 2 for 14 with 3 RBIs. He's got 2 more out there. Men on second and third, 2 outs. He takes a fastball right down the chute, 1-1. Looking to answer back as they trail 1-0 to the Bombers. With British Columbia able to put a run on the board in the bottom of the first. A single should give them the lead. Good speed on second base with Fennelly. The 1-1. That fastball's outside, 2-1. First base is open with the catcher Combs on deck.
Well, this is the biggest opportunity for the Jacks so far in this game. 2 runners in scoring position.
That 2-1 fastball's outside again, 3-1 the count. We'll see if Berryman opts to give him anything good to hit. Again, with first base open.
Yep, and then number 9 hitter coming up.
Here's the 3-1 out of the stretch. He does challenge him. It's at the knees, 3-2.
That was a pitcher's pitch, a good location for Berryman, not leaving it too much over the plate for Jackson to square up and give the Jacks the lead.
Fennelly over at second. Mata at third. Here's the payoff. That's inside, full count. Wow, mistake from Mata. He gets caught in the middle. He's going to be out at third. I don't know what in the world happened there. He caught a break just a moment ago, avoiding getting doubled off at first. I don't know if he thought the bases were loaded or what happened. Jackson drew the walk that would have loaded the bases, and Mata gets himself picked off at third to end the inning.
The third base running mistake we've seen so far through an inning and a half.
Yeah, Joey, as you said, we're through an inning and a half on the California Winter League YouTube. The Bombers remain on top 1-0 when we return. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're set for the bottom of the second inning. The mistake on the base paths ended into what could have been a bases-loaded rally for the Lumberjacks. Swinging at the first pitch and popping it up foul out of play is Steve Snowden.
Yeah, I think the managers are going to have a conversation with both teams and say, hey, guys, I need you to pay attention more on the bases.
It's been a tough day on the bases for sure, and mental mistakes too, not necessarily even physical ones. Fastball's way outside, 1-1. Matt Millett getting back to work after allowing a run in the bottom of the first inning. That one's popped up right over our heads.
Evan, if you're on the bases, you need to know what the count is, and you need to know how many outs there are. And we struggled with that early on in this game. But they'll figure it out after a conversation by the two managers.
And for what it's worth, if you're going to make mistakes, then make them here at the CWL before you're a professional. So that breaking ball misses down, 2-2.
Good point there.
Steve Snowden, who's 6 for 15 on the season with a double and a couple RBIs. One of the steady guys in the middle of this Bombers order as that breaking ball just misses outside. Milt's got a good bender, especially with all these lefties we've seen from the Bombers. Here's a 3-2 pitch with no outs and nobody on base. That misses low. I thought that was ball 4. I'm hearing sounds like both managers are saying, yeah, that's ball 4.
Snowden didn't know the count either. What's happening in this game so far, Evan?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. So Snowden will take his base. First walk issued by Millett. He did hit a batter in the previous inning. It brings up Harrison Fullerton, the catcher. Yeah, we heard Tom Vaith, manager for the Bombers, saying that's ball 4. Even the Lumberjacks manager, Cam Roth, was saying it's ball 4. A fastball misses inside, 1-0. Harrison Fullerton bats with nobody out and a man on first, and a check on the runner. Snowden has not stolen a base this year. He was caught once. He has a pretty short lead, especially with a lefty on the mound. Now, fastball is taken a little high to Fullerton. He's ahead 2-0.
Fullerton's 2 for 12 coming into today's game, a 167 average.
He's also drawn a whopping 6 walks as he takes strike 1. And it leads the team. Antoine Herndon Walker is second on the Bombers with 4. That fastball catches the inside corner, 2-2 the count. 1-0 Bombers in the bottom of the second inning. Snowden walked to open the frame after it seemed like everybody at home plate forgot the count.
Jackson's pretty close to second, the second baseman, and Heinrich is playing normal depth for the shortstop.
Yeah, it's pretty close to second base bag, even if you're shading for a double play.
Yeah, it is.
Misses inside, 3-2 once again. Couple deep counts to open the second frame for Millett. The shortstop Heinrich's playing way over towards the hole on the left side. And that's up and in, ball 4. Back-to-back walks to open the second inning for Matt Millett and the Lumberjacks.
Yep, the bottom of the lineup for the Bombers is going to look to score some more runs.
We're going to have a quick meeting on the mound. The catcher, Combs, is having a brief word with Millett, trying to settle him down. Aaron Hurd will be the next man to dig in.
How many times have you seen in baseball, Evan, a team scores 10-plus runs and then the next day they get shut out or score 1 run?
That's a good question. I'm sure there's somebody deep in those offices who has a statistic on that.
Well, I'm
over
just
a
talking
given
about even in the major leagues, how often this happened.
Yeah, that's
One
what I'm
day,
saying, yeah.
everything's going for you. The next day, you can't buy a hit.
Well,
So,
it is still early in the bottom of the second inning.
yeah, we'll see what happens for the Jacks on the other side.
That ball's popped straight up, back our way, and over the press box.
Whew. I was waiting for that one to come down.
Thought for a moment that would land on top of us on the roof. We've had a few foul balls come down like that. Aaron Hurd digs back in, staring down an 0-1 count from Matt Millett. This Bombers leading 1-0 in the bottom of the second inning. Breaking ball, and yes, he did go around, according to home plate umpire Roman Frecking. 0-2 the count to Hurd.
Millett looking for a strikeout here in this situation. One strike away.
Hurd looking for his 4th RBI of the season. He's 3 for 10 overall with a double. Huge hole on the right side. Another breaking ball. That ball's ripped just foul down the third base line. Millett left that one a little too far up for his liking, and Hurd just a bit out in front.
A few inches, Evan, from clearing the bases there down the left field line.
And Fullerton runs, the utility guy, he runs pretty well, even though he's getting the start at the catcher's position today. Short lead from second for Snowden. A fastball, it's foul tipped at home plate. It hits off of Frecking.
And Combs as well, the catcher.
And it'll take a few extra moments just to give Frecking a little bit of time. Got Combs walking the ball halfway out to Millett on the mound. It's a considerate thing to do, whether it's the catcher or the home plate umpire gets hit.
One of those unwritten rules in baseball.
The right fielder, Churchill, playing pretty shallow. And the center field, Fenley, over a couple steps in the left center field alleyway as that's in the dirt. Good play by Combs. So a good amount of room in right center field. Garner in left is playing pretty deep. And the Lumberjacks will look to turn 2. And then on first and second, nobody out, trailing the Bombers 1-0. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Millett. Fastball, and that gets Hurd. Looked like it got him right on his front knee. It'll load the bases with nobody out. Looks like manager Tom Vaith and one of our trainers, Juliana, is going to take a look at him. Now, while they do that, we'll step aside for just a moment, ladies and gentlemen, as they take a look at Aaron Hurd after getting hit by a pitch. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you for your patience. Aaron Hurd got up on his feet after getting looked at a little bit by one of our trainers to take his base after getting hit on his left knee by a fastball from Millett. A walk to Snowden, a walk to Fullerton, and Hurd getting hit by the pitch. It loads the bases with nobody out for the Bombers. So they're looking to add on to their 1-0 lead in the bottom of the second inning. It's the 8-man in the order, Scout Knotts, the designated hitter. Digs into the right-handed batter's box and takes a fastball at the knees 0-1.
Knotts can hit, too. He has only one RBI on the season, but he's 5 for 13 with a .385 batting average.
Scout Knotts. That's a baseball name if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, it is.
Here's the 0-1. Ball's back towards the middle. Good play by Jackson. The second for one. Jump throw to first. In time. 4-6-3 double play for the Lumberjacks. Snowden is able to cross the plate, but all things considered, a huge double play on a ball that was smoked to the second baseman Jackson.
Yeah, that's a win if you're a Lumberjacks. Even though you're giving up a run there, getting 2 outs on the board, and now just 1 out away from getting out of this inning with only allowing the 1 run with the bases loaded and nobody out.
The run does put the Bombers up 2-0. The chance to get out of it only allowing the 1. Vincent Bruce takes a fastball a little high, 1-0. He's the 9th man in the order. Fullerton advanced to third on the play. That's where we stand. 2 outs, a man at third. The Bombers now up 2-0 in the bottom of the second. That fastball catches the outside corner, 1-1. Bruce is 2 for 7. A couple RBIs, no extra base hits to his credit. This being the 5th game he's played in, and he's way out in front of a breaking ball that's running down and away from him with a tough lefty-on-lefty matchup. All sorts of options for Matt Millett, who's ahead 1-2. He kicks and deals. Another breaking ball, and he gets Bruce swinging to retire the side. Second strikeout of the day for Matt Millett. The Bombers are able to push a run across the plate after loading the base with nobody out with 2 walks and a hit batter. But thanks to a big-time 4-6-3 double play, Lumberjacks escaped what could have been a much worse jam. We're through 2 full at Palm Springs Stadium. We'll be back in just a moment.
Welcome back to Palm Springs Stadium. I'm Joey Senna, and to my right is Evan Smizer. 2-0 lead for the British Columbia Bombers, scoring a run in each of the first 2 innings. It's going to be 9-1-2 due up for the Lumberjacks to start the 3rd inning. Combs, Churchill, and Gardner.
We'll see if the Lumberjacks are able to find and build on a little bit of momentum after getting out of that 2nd inning, only allowing the 1 run.
First pitch from Berryman in the dirt to Combs, ball 1.
Scott Combs was the next batter due up after Mata got picked off at the end of Ronald Jackson's at-bat.
Up and in, Combs way ahead, 2-0. The Oregon Lumberjacks, 5-2. Up and in again for ball 3.
At least through 2, Berryman's been able to keep this red-hot Lumberjacks lineup in check. Last thing you want to do is issue a leadoff walk.
A big swing and a miss from Combs. Strike 1.
I'm all for a 3-0 green light, especially in a league where you're trying to showcase yourself, but I need to see a more aggressive swing.
Yeah, leadoff walk would be a momentum starter if you're the Jacks. Potentially, at least.
If I'm Berryman, if I'm confident enough that I can locate an off-speed pitch, I'd go with that.
Full count pitch is driven into center field. Shulafan going into right center, making the catch for out number 1. Good job there from Berryman to work behind from a 3-0 count to make it full count, and then a pop fly out of Combs. Good job battling back for Berryman.
Yeah, it's an important first out for him, especially he's trying to record his second consecutive shutdown inning.
Yep. Brings up the leadoff man, Luke Churchill, who grounded out to third base his last time up. Takes strike 1. Churchill is 2 for 10 in this season. He's the right fielder for the Lumberjacks today. Oh, it's a 1-1, and it's hit by a pitch from Berryman.
Obviously, none of these hit batters are intentional, but there's been a lot of hit batters today. Let me see. Yep, that's the third hit batter of the game across both sides.
And that's the third time Churchill has been hit by a pitch in the CWL.
Well, he does stand pretty close to home plate, so you're getting pitchers. They're trying to take control of the inside half, and when we saw Berryman fall behind 3-0 to Combs, maybe fighting his command just a little bit as we open the third inning. If you're going to stand close to the plate, you're going to get hit a few times.
Brings up Champ Gardner, the number 2 hitter, the left fielder for Oregon. Last time up, he grounded out to third base as well for a busy first inning for the third baseman, Holiday. Ball 1 in the dirt and outside. Lumberjacks looking to get on the board. They trail 2-0 here in the top of the third inning. The wind starting to pick up right to left a little bit. The flag's blowing out in center field. 1-0, but before that, Berryman throws over to first base. It gets away from White. Churchill heading to second. He'll get there safely. So now a runner in scoring position for Champ.
I don't think that was a horrible pickoff throw either. I guess the throw just kind of went off the body of Churchill. Not a really aggressive attempt from the lefty White over at first to try and cut that ball off.
The 1-0 hit into right center field. Shulafan, the center fielder, will play it. Churchill will stay at second base. So 2 away now here in the top of the third.
That was a strong throw from Shulafan, coming in from the center field spot and then spinning and firing a one-hop strike over the third. Joey, I'm sure you see this in center field. It looks like there must be some kind of like windstorm at the top of the canyons out there.
Yes.
Like we see the sand up in the air. We can't really see that canyon outline anymore.
Yep. A bunch of dirt particles in the air, in the distance. So with the runner on second base and 2 outs here in the top of the third, broken bat, foul ball for Shinichiro Ishida. He'll have to get some new lumber.
Wow.
And a teammate of his is picking up all the wooden pieces that fell off. Good kindle for a fire.
Yeah, that's splintered. Looks like 2 pieces splintered off the bat on that one.
Yeah. His bat is now in 4 pieces.
I think that would be 3 pieces, unless I'm not seeing it properly. I mean, either way, though, let's see. We're seeing all sorts of hit batters. We're seeing outs on the bases. This is the third broken bat we've seen between our now this being our second game of the day at the stadium. And we have a windstorm out in the distance in center field. What's going on? What's going on today, Joey?
It's Sunday, family day here at the ballpark. It's nice to see the kids here on the weekends. 0-1, hit on the right side. Bishop, the second baseman, fields it cleanly and throws a strike over to White to retire the side. The Lumberjacks unable to get a run across here in the top of the third despite having a runner in scoring position with only one away. We head to the bottom of the third inning. The British Columbia Bombers with a 2-0 lead. We'll be right back on the California Winter League YouTube channel. Welcome back as we head to the home half of the third inning. The Bombers with a 2-0 lead. Back to the top of the order. Shulafan, Bishop, and White. 1, 2, 3 hitters due up. Last time up, Shulafan was hit by a pitch. He went on to steal a base and come across the score. First pitch swinging to the second baseman, Jackson. One pitch and one out for Millett here in the bottom of the third.
I have to give Millett a lot of credit because he's consistently going inside with fastballs. I mean, he doesn't throw all that hard. He has a pretty good curveball, but that's what you have to do if you're going to keep the Bombers lineup at bay.
And
also probably why we've seen several broken bats today, pitchers throwing inside.
Yep, jamming guys in the box. Ball one delivered to Dalton Bishop, who struck out swinging his last time up. That was 1 of 2 strikeouts so far for Millett. Here in the bottom of the third inning, the Bombers with a 2-0 lead. Foul ball just down, just to the foul side of third base.
Oh, we're seeing a plane take off within the windstorm. So we are pretty close to the airport.
Do you drive by the airport to come here?
I do not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they fly right over you when you're driving that way. Cool sight to see, and you feel it too.
I'm gonna guess that you drive by the airport.
Yep. I actually live so close to the airport. They wake me up at 6 in the morning is when the first flights come into Palm Springs International. So 3 balls and 1 strike to the number 2 hitter, Dalton Bishop. Looking for his first hit this afternoon. Only 1 hit so far for British Columbia. Ball 4, a 1-out walk issued to Bishop. That'll bring up the number 3 hitter, Tanner White, who recorded an RBI single his last time up in the first inning.
Well, this has been one of the big starters for the Bombers offense. Just all the walks and hit batters. It's combined. This is the 4th guy that Millett's put on base via free pass.
Yep. So Millett looks in for the sign. Working from the stretch, lefty on lefty matchup. Finds the outside corner for strike 1. Millett looking for another double play ball here.
On the previous at-bat to White, he was trying to go slow, slow, slow away from him. He's got to try and pound him inside with fastballs.
That slider misses the zone for ball 1. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 on, and 1 out. Strike 2 on the upper outside corner. Nice pitch there from Millett.
If I'm Tanner White, though, everything he's seen these first 2 at-bats, they've been going away from him. So get a little closer to the plate, veer out there, and try and drive something into left.
Millett gets ready with the 1-2, kicks and deals outside for ball 2. That'll even the count. Two balls and 2 strikes. One away here, British Columbia with a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the 3rd inning. The count now full.
Bishop has stolen 1 base. So I'm curious to see if they elect to start him up with the count being full.
We shall see the full count, and there goes the runner, and that's fouled back into the netting from Tanner White. Good call there, Evan.
He got a jump resembling more of a straight steal. Sometimes when you see a full count, you just want to start the runner. You may not get quite as good of a jump. Millett does not have a great move over the first. We saw one a little bit earlier, and it looked pretty casual.
So full count once again, but before Millett throws home, he checks on Bishop at first base.
Yeah, and that was a slightly more aggressive throw over the first we saw from Millett, but it's one of those motions where you can easily pick it apart as a base runner as far as trying to tell whether he's going to first or whether he's going to the plate.
So we'll do the full count again. Miller works from the stretch. Runner goes, a strikeout.
Looks like the ball
And
was
they
dropped.
call some kind of interference. So that's going to be the end of the inning. They called interference on Tanner White on the throw from Combs. So the runner, Bishop, is out at second base due to that interference. So that will end the inning. We head to the top of the 4th. British Columbia lead 2-0. We'll be right back. Welcome back as we head to the visiting side of the 4th inning. Berryman gets back to work for the Bombers. 3 shutout innings so far for Berryman. He'll face the middle of the lineup for the Lumberjacks. Heinrich, Mata, and Puglielli, 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up. Lumberjacks scored 15 runs yesterday against the Power in a 15-1 win. But the bats have been quieted so far by Berryman. Throws in. First pitch swinging is Heinrich. On the right side in foul territory, the first baseman, White, makes the play in foul ground. Out number 1 on 1 pitch for Berryman. Brings up the designated hitter, Daniel Mata.
That's a very helpful first out for Berryman.
Yep.
Getting a first pitch pop up to the cleanup man Heinrich. Can ask for a better start going against the heart of the lineup.
Especially against this hot Oregon Lumberjacks team. Mata reached on an error his last time up, and then he was out at third base after he thought it was ball 4. This ball is lifted into left center field. In on it, making a diving catch is Shulafan, the center fielder, for out number 2. Good defense here for Berryman in the 4th.
As well executed of a play as you can ask for. Shulafan got an excellent jump going over into the left center field alleyway. It was good, also good backup from Bruce, so Shulafan, easy decision for him to lay out and held on to it as he went to the ground.
Berryman's looking for his first 1-2-3 inning. He'll face Andrew Puglielli, who had himself a day yesterday with 6 RBIs. Yesterday afternoon, the 1-0 outside in the dirt delivered by Berryman, who's only allowed 2 hits, no runs through 3 2/3 innings. The Bombers with a 2-0 lead. Inside corner for strike 1. Good 2-0 pitch there from Berryman. Time is called at the plate from Puglielli.
That's not a bad idea either. Berryman's been working quickly the entire game, especially with nobody on.
Yeah, slow him down a little bit. The 2-1 swung on and chopped to the left side. The third baseman, Holiday, puts a glove on it, fumbles it for a second, and unable to get the speedy Puglielli. That'll be an E5.
And the speed from Puglielli, who's busting it up the line, is what made it such a difficult play for Holiday. So he kind of got that big hop a bit in between. If it's a slower run, you want to wait back a little bit more. But that's what happens when you have a fast guy.
Brings up Luke Fennelly, who's leading the CWL in hits so far in this 2023 season. Thanks for joining us wherever you may be. Ball is lifted by Fennelly into left center field. Shulafan able to track it down and get under it. Not a 1-2-3 inning for Berryman, but still an efficient inning and putting up another 0. We're halfway home, and we head to the bottom of the 4th. Bombers with a 2-0 lead. Welcome back in the home half of the 4th inning. The Bombers with a 2-0 lead. Matt Millett gets back to work for the Oregon Lumberjacks. First pitch swinging is lifted into left field. Going back on it is Gardner at the warning track, unable to make the catch. Extra bases for Matthew Holiday, who has a leadoff stand-up double to start the 4th inning for the Bombers.
I was just getting ready to make a comment about the impressive pitching we've seen so far, and it has been very impressive. And Holiday put a charge into that one, but a very poor play by the left fielder, Champ Gardner. I don't know if he didn't see the ball right away, but it was up in the air for several seconds. He hadn't moved from his initial spot in left, because that's a ball where you want to be able to settle under that and make that catch.
First pitch to Steve Snowden. Check swing, able to hold up. 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, I don't know if Gardner wasn't able to track it from the sun or what happened there out in left field. 1-0, just outside for ball 2. The Bombers looking to tack on to their 2-0 lead here in the 4th inning. A runner in scoring position for the number 5 hitter, Snowden, who walked in his only plate appearance back in the 2nd. Millett looks back at the runner a couple times before he deals home, and a swing and a miss from Snowden.
Well, if you're Snowden and the Bombers, it's looking like runs are going to be tough to come by, possibly the rest of the way. Get a ground ball to the right side of the infield, especially lefty-on-lefty matchup.
2-1, a big cut on that ball upstairs from Millett.
Well, that fastball caught me by surprise. We've been seeing a lot of slow stuff to these lefties in the middle of the Bombers' order, and then he pulled extra heat on that fastball up in the strike zone.
Yeah, he did. Millett looks in, gets the sign, checks the runner a couple of times, kicks the 2-2, just outside again. Full count. First base is open, but nobody out. Millett looking for a strikeout here with a runner on second base. Holiday takes the lead from second. He'll stay there on the full count. And outside, Combs trying to frame it. Make it look good for home plate umpire Roman Frecking.
You know, Millett went with a curveball on that 2-2 pitch. And the pitch before, he got the swing and the miss on the high fastball. I would have liked to see him go right back to that fastball.
With the fastball, yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Because in that 3-2 pitch, he went with the fastball there. It didn't miss by much. Give yourself 2 opportunities to execute that pitch.
Mm-hmm. So the Bombers cooking here in the bottom of the 4th. Runners on first and second, nobody out for Harrison Fullerton, the catcher, who walked his last time up. Millett falls behind 1-0. The Bombers with the 2-0 lead on 2 hits here in the bottom of the 4th.
Joey, you did kind of call it, saying how many times did it happen where you have a big offensive outburst and then it ends up being a difficult time to get runs on the board.
That's why I love baseball so much. You never know. That's fouled back into Sunrise Park right behind us. You know, in any sport, a team that's heavily an underdog could always beat the team that's heavily favored. But I feel like in baseball, it can happen the most. Anybody could win on any given day. That's why there's the series that we see in like the playoffs. 1-1 hit to the left side. Puglielli tags a runner out and throws over to first base. The throw gets by Ishida. Good start to the play, but Puglielli unable to get Fullerton at first.
It was not the best idea from Puglielli to go for the tag. I would have preferred to see him immediately fire the ball over to second base to try and get the around the horn double play. It would have been bang-bang at first, but he had to go a long way in order to make that tag to Holiday coming towards third base. And then trying to spin, pirouette, and throw to first, it's a difficult play all around.
Yeah, just go for the more traditional double play. Millett throws over to Fullerton, who's at first base. Holiday was tagged out between second and third, so now Steve Snowden stands at third base. He advanced to third on the errant throw. Aaron Hurd now at the plate. The runners on the corners looking to extend their 2-0 lead here in the home half of the 4th. Last time up, Hurd was hit by a pitch. Then he got out on the base paths on Scout Knott's 4-6-3 double play back in the second. 1-0 is just foul by maybe an inch or two.
That was close, and it would have been trouble. That probably would have scored 2 runs. That ball went way into the corner out in left field.
Yeah, I agree. The Bombers would have doubled their lead if that was fair. So Hurd steps back in a 1-1 count. 2 runners on and 1 away. 2-0 Bombers lead here in the bottom of the 4th. That breaking ball's just low for ball 2.
Somehow, even with all the deep counts and traffic on the base for Miller, that was only his 61st pitch of the day. I got word from Cordell downstairs. I thought it'd be higher.
Aaron Hurd already with 3 RBIs in the CWL seasons. Looking for another one here. And a bad break for the Bombers. And that will be a double play to end the inning. So we head to the top of the 5th. The Bombers unable to extend their lead with runners on first and second and nobody out. We head to the top of the 5th. The Bombers with the 2-0 lead. Welcome back as we start the 5th inning. The Bombers trying to stop the hot Oregon Lumberjacks on their 4-game win streak. The Bombers coming into today's game, 3 wins, 3 losses, and 1 tie. 3-3-1. Looking to get over 500. They're able to keep this 2-0 lead. Berryman still on the hill for the Bombers. First pitch in. Ball 1 to Ronald Jackson. 8-9-1 due up here in the 5th. Ball 2 outside again.
It truly goes to show that anything can happen on any given day at the ballpark. Who would have thought that the Lumberjacks would be shut out and get 2 hit by Berryman as we sit in the 5th?
Berryman finding the zone once again on the outside corner. Strike 1. 2-1. A little blooper right by second base, and the shortstop Snowden unable to make a play. So an infield single for Jackson to start this 5th inning as the Lumberjacks look to get on the board.
Snowden did all he could, charging in on that ball and fielding it a little bit in front of the second base bag. That ball just hit way too slowly, and it was spinning so much that it kind of just died as soon as it hit the ground, and too much speed from Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson couldn't have placed that anywhere better in the middle infield. So with the runner on first base and nobody out, Scott Combs will dig in to take some hacks. Takes up and in for ball 1. Last time up, Combs flew out to center field back in the 3rd inning. Combs is 5 for 14 this season.
That's a late timeout
That pitch
call.
will not count as time was called, and as Evan mentioned, very late.
Yeah, if I'm a pitcher, I hate to see a timeout.
Usually you
call
don't
like
see
that.
time granted if it's that late by the umpire.
Yeah, what's going on right now? Timeout was just called again.
Combs trying to find his footing below him. The 1-0 is hit in towards the left side and out of play. Foul.
Wow, that's a good thing there. It's a good thing that second set of bleachers is very sparsely populated because I don't think any of those 5 people down there were paying attention. And the ball at the beer is like, oh my God, the ball came.
We see a kid chasing the ball. She's about to get some free popcorn. The 1-1 fouled back into the netting. Berryman ahead of Combs. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, it is really cool to see all these families here. It is family day Sunday.
What's better than this? Being at the ballpark in 70-degree weather in February. 1-2 outside from Berryman. An easy take for Combs.
Yeah, it's a good thing the middle infielders were able to back up that throw. The return throw back to Berryman ended up going past him.
Yeah, Jackson would have taken second easily if that got into the outfield. So Berryman looks in, works from the stretch in the 2-2. Runner goes on a hit and run. Combs delivers a shot into center field. Runners on first and second and nobody out for the Lumberjacks as the order flips around for the right fielder, Luke Churchill, the leadoff man.
Well, that ball was smoked off the bat of Combs, and that must have been a straight steal that we saw from Jackson. As it looks like we're going to get a meeting on the mound. Tom Vaith coming out to talk to Berryman.
Well, we were just talking about the Lumberjacks maybe getting shut out. They're shut out through 4 innings. Well, here they come, here in the 5th, with nobody out and runners on first and second at the top of the lineup.
Looks like we're getting a pitching change.
Yep, we'll have a pitching change, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Here in the top of the 5th inning, the Bombers with the 2-0 lead. The Lumberjacks looking to get on the board. Runners on first and second for Luke Churchill, the right fielder. The new pitcher for the Bombers is Alexander Ford. What can you tell us about Alexander, Evan?
Well, this will be the 3rd game he's pitched in. He's gone a total of 8 innings, and he's been impressive. He has not allowed to run yet. 4 hits across those 8 frames, 4 strikeouts, and only 1 walk. And he comes in a big situation with the tying run at first base.
Yes, a big spot, no doubt about that. So Ford takes over for Mark Berryman, who pitched 4+ innings, giving up 4 hits. He is responsible for the runners at first and second. First pitch fouled back out of play from Luke Churchill.
You can't ask for anything better than what Berryman was able to deliver today. I mean, a scorching hot lineup. One of the class teams of the CWL so far, and he blanked them. Through 4+, he blanked them.
The 0-1, just above the zone for ball one. Churchill was hit by a pitch back in the third and grounded out to third base back in the first inning. Big opportunity here in the fifth as the Jacks trail 2-0. The 1-1, check swing, and it's called a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes for Ford, who's looking for a double play ball or a strikeout or some kind of unproductive out. Ford looks in. He and Fullerton on the same page. Outside, ball 2. Uncompetitive pitch there.
I see Steve down there doing, or getting names for the 50-50 raffle. He's got a really good crowd to work with.
Yeah, he does. Great crowd on hand here on Sunday afternoon at the historic Palm Springs Stadium. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ford throws home, swung on and missed by Luke Churchill. A big, big strikeout for Ford and the British Columbia Bombers.
I think Churchill's eyes might have lit up a little too much for his own good. He saw that slow breaking ball kind of fluttering up there, up in the strike zone, and I think he was looking to make it a 3-2 ball game with 1 swing.
Runner still on first and second. 1 out here in the top of the 5th for Champ Gardner, the number 2 hitter. Ford checks the runners.
Look out.
And hit on the helmet is Champ Gardner. Thankfully, that was a breaking ball coming in slower. Obviously, getting hit in the helmet's never good. But Gardner will walk to first base.
Yeah, he looks to be just fine, but what's a little unnerving about a situation like that is I don't think Gardner really picked up that ball well out of the hand of Alexander Ford. He didn't really react to it until the ball hit him.
The base is now full of Lumberjacks for the number 3 hitter, Shinichiro Ishida, who's looking for his first hit in this afternoon. If he's able to get a hit, could potentially tie this game. The Bombers with the 2-0 lead. Outside corner from Ford for strike 1. Big situation here in the top of the 5th inning. The Lumberjacks are out hitting the Bombers, but find themselves down 2-0. Ball 1 in the dirt to Ishida. He walked back in the first, grounded out to second, back in the third. 0 for 1.
This is your chance for the Lumberjacks. You're finally able to get into the Bombers' bullpen, and you got the middle of the order coming up.
The 1-1, waved at and missed from Ishida. Ford hunting for a strikeout here. The bases loaded and only 1 away.
And that was a fastball that we just saw from Ford. Ishida, he's going to have to get up in the box, keep his weight back, because he ended up kind of swinging out of his shoes on that one.
Working from the windup is Ford. Ball is hit on the right side of the field and bending foul.
Well, obviously a much better swing that time.
Yep.
Ishida. He just needs to keep his weight back a little longer. I'd almost even recommend move up in the box. He's standing all the way at the back of the batter's box, even with a guy up there in Ford who does not have much on his fastball.
Ishida puts the ball in play into shallow right field. The second baseman, Bishop, making a play on it. The runner comes home and makes it in time. A sacrifice fly by Ishida to get the Lumberjacks on the board here in the 5th. And they appeal, saying Ronald Jackson left third base early, and they got the call. So the run will be wiped off the board, and we head to the home half of the 5th inning. The British Columbia Bombers still with a 2-0 lead. Welcome back to Palm Springs, California. An absolutely beautiful day here at the ballpark on Sunday afternoon. 72 degrees. We have a great matchup here. The Bombers with the 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the fifth. The new pitcher for the Lumberjacks, Brandon Lee Lejano. He's making his third appearance today. He's ahead 0-2. Lejano's pitched 9 1/3 innings, giving up just 6 hits and 3 earned runs. He has 12 strikeouts compared to 5 walks, and his ERA is sitting at 2.25. Ball 1 in the dirt. This Scout Knotts, a designated hitter, who grounded into a 4-6-3 double play back in the second inning. Knotts, Bruce, and Shulafan due up for British Columbia. They have a 2-0 lead. Ball in the dirt once again. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Lee Lejano, who's from Hilo, Hawaii. He spent some time in the Pecos League. Correction, the Pecos League. The right-hander throws home and a base hit to left field from Scout Knotts, his first hit this afternoon. British Columbia with a 2-0 lead, looking to extend on that here in the home fifth. That'll bring up the number 9 hitter, the left fielder, Vincent Bruce, who struck out swinging back in the second inning. That was one of 3 strikeouts by Millett. The runner goes, the throw not in time. So a stolen base recorded for Scout Knotts, who's in scoring position with nobody out for the Bombers as they look to extend their 2-0 lead. Lee Lejano looks in for the sign from Scott Combs behind the plate. Checks on Knotts, the runner at second, and throws home outside for ball 2. Vincent Bruce is from Plainfield, Illinois. He spent some time playing college ball at Illinois College. Waved at and missed for strike 1.
Yeah, and Lano's been good. This being the third game he's pitched. 2.25 ERA over 9 1/3.
Yep. Looking to continue his dominance on the mound. So 3 balls and 1 strike. A runner on second base as the Bombers look to add on an insurance run or 2. And that's a walk issued to Vincent Bruce. The order will flip around with runners on first and second and nobody out.
And Joey, that's got to be a backbreaker, not only to have the bases loaded with 1 out, but I thought initially we saw a really good base running play from Ronald Jackson tagging up on the short pop-up to second base, but
yeah,
not to be as he left early.
So 2-0 Bomber lead here in the bottom of the fifth, looking to tack on here.
Just going back to that last play, though, for the second baseman, Dalton Bishop, when you make a catch like that, then you want to immediately spin around and make sure you know what's going on in the bases or fire that ball to where you have to throw it to.
Up and in to the leadoff man, Jordan Shulafand. He was hit by a pitch back in the first. Grounded out to second, back in the third. 0 for 1, looking for his first hit this afternoon out of the leadoff spot. Ball 2 is outside and in the dirt. Lee Lejano trying to find his rhythm on the mound, coming out of the bullpen for the Lumberjacks. The 2-0 fouled down the left field line. 2-1. The 24-year-old Shula fan awaits the 2-1. That's hit a mile high into the bleachers. Heads up to the fans in attendance. And that will trickle down each step.
Yeah, and there's another group of fans down there where I don't think they saw the ball coming. And it only landed about a row and a half away from a few of those unaware CWL fans.
Luckily, the ball missed them. Back into the action. The runner goes, and finding a hole is Shula fan on the left side. That'll bring in Scout Knotts from second base on that RBI single. And the Bombers tack on here in the bottom of the fifth and now lead 3-0.
Yeah, Scout Knotts the beneficiary of having taken off on the pitch, so it made it real easy for manager Tom Vaith to give him the wave around in the third base coach's box.
Lee Lejano searching for his command here in the the bottom of the fifth. Excuse me. Still nobody out. A run already in for the Bombers. And they're looking to tack on some more insurance runs. Ball one up and into Dalton Bishop, the second baseman, who's 0 for 1 today. Bruce is at second base after being walked, and Shula fan at first after his RBI single. Wave down and a big swing from Bishop. Comes away empty. Lee Lejano working from the stretch. Righty on righty matchup here. That ball slices inside. 2-1.
This could be a big opportunity for the Bombers to put this one out of reach for the Lumberjacks, especially leading 3-0, and they have a chance for a lot more.
Swung on and missed once again from Bishop. The count is even. 2 balls and 2 strikes and 2 runners on.
I mean, it doesn't get any more dangerous than this for Lee Lejano and the Jacks, with the middle of the order coming up for the Bombers.
Dalton Bishops from Colorado Springs fouls that off to stay alive. Just 23 years young. Have you been to Colorado? Have you spent any time in Colorado, Evan?
Oh, let me see. When I was driving from California back home to New Jersey in November, I passed through Colorado, and boy, is it beautiful.
It is a beautiful state, all right. 2-2 just upstairs to Bishop. The count's now full.
Like, I stepped out of my car at a rest stop as I was getting close to Denver, and I had climbed like 2,000 or 3,000 feet in a very short period of time in my car, and I nearly fell over from the altitude.
Yep. Mile high there in Denver. Upstairs, and that's another walk issued by Lee Lejano. The base is full of Bombers here in the home half of the fifth. Already 1 run across as they have a 3-0 lead.
And this is going to be Brandon Lee Lejano's inning. Nobody's up in the Lumberjack bullpen. Might be looking for him to finish this game off. And he's got a lot of traffic on the bases with them loaded.
Yep. Vincent Bruce is at third base after he was walked. Jordan Shulafan, after his RBI single, stands at second. And Dalton Bishop at first base. For the number 3 hitter, the first baseman, Tanner White, who already has an RBI single in this game. That came back in the first inning. The Bombers scored 1 in the first, 1 in the second, and also 1 here in the fifth so far. Bases loaded, nobody out, and a big swing from Tanner White, strike 1. White looked like he was trying to break this game open. The 0-1. White fouls this towards the left side. Puglielli goes as far as he can to the Bombers' dugout, but watches it bounce into the metal bleachers. Lee Lejano ahead 0-2, searching for a strikeout here. Looking
Also,
to limit the damage in the 5th.
I'm a little surprised the Lumberjacks aren't playing the infield all the way in. It looks like the Jackson and Heinrich are playing the turn too, but I would not want to concede a 4th run to the Bombers.
The 0-2 upstairs, ball 1 to White. Yeah, I think they're searching for outs at this point with the bases loaded.
I also get a kick out of seeing a Lumberjacks fielder going towards the Bomber dugout and nobody going to help him if he ended up falling in.
The 1-2, just outside. A nice take there from Tanner White at the plate. Good awareness of the strike zone. It's the lefty White. Lee Lejano gets ready for the 2-2, and that's outside, ball 3. So full count now to Tanner White with the bases loaded and the Bombers with a 3-0 lead here in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, there's nowhere to put him. I expect to see a challenge fastball. White should get something pretty good to hit.
The 3-2 is outside, ball 4. So Lee Lejano walks in a run. Vincent Bruce comes in to score. Jordan Shulafan heads to third base. Dalton Bishop at second, and now Tanner White at first. His second RBI of the afternoon. And the Bombers take a 4-0 lead in the bottom of the 5th. Bases still loaded, still nobody out for the cleanup man, Matthew Holliday, the third baseman, who takes strike 1.
That's the 9th combined man that has either been hit by a pitch or walked by Lumberjacks pitching. That's been a killer.
Yeah, not a winning formula there. Bases loaded and a big hack from Holliday, strike 2. Holliday doubled back in the 4th and flew out with an infield pop-up to second base back in the 1st. He's 1 for 2. Looking to add on here in the bottom of the 5th. British Columbia with a 4-0 lead. The ball is put into play. Puglielli, the third baseman, throws wide to Jackson at second base. More runs in for the Bombers. Two more runs come across here in the bottom of the 5th as the Bombers take a 6-0 lead.
I mean, obviously it's a physical mistake. It looked like it would have surely been a double play ball out to Puglielli. I don't know why he didn't just go home with that initial play to cut down the run. It's a couple things that have surprised me with the Lumberjacks. It's the setup of the middle infield as if they're already going to concede a run. And
did you hear the music in the stadium right now, Evan? That was my theme song.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Sorry to cut you off. I got too excited there.
Yeah, they did play your theme song, Joey. The guy who stole your last name. How about that? Yeah, when I first met you, Joey, it took me all the first 2 weeks to stop calling you Cena.
I'm used to it at this point.
But in all seriousness, as a third baseman with the base load, nobody out, you go home with that ball if you're Puglielli. That's a big mental mistake.
Instead of trying to turn 2.
Easily, yeah. You don't. Even if he turned a double play, he would have conceded a 5th run. I mean, like, the game's not over as far as a 4-run game would be concerned, and it'd be an easy out to play, and the ball was hit hard enough where there could have still been enough time for Combs to go to first.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there. So the inning will come to a close.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to roll
after that
the inning.
long inning. Yes. And the Bombers tack on 4 more runs at the bottom of the 5th inning and now lead 6-0 as we head to the top of the 6th inning from Palm Springs Stadium. We'll be right back.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Lumberjacks are down to their final 6 outs as they stare down a 6-0 hole against the Bombers. I'm Evan Schmeiser, joined by Joey Senna. Alexander Ford back out for his second inning of work on in relief for Mark Berryman, who went the first 4. He's in line for the win at the moment. It's a 1-0 count to Jeff Heinrich. 4, 5, 6. Due up for the Jacks, Heinrich, Mata, and Puglielli. They try and get something going. Only 4 hits on the board for them. They've left the bases loaded twice today. Last inning, it looked like they were about to have a run, but Ronald Jackson left early when he was tagging up on a shallow pop-up to second base. Ball's fouled off out of play to the right side, 1-2 the count. This has not been the same Lumberjacks team that we're used to seeing. Winners of 4 straight coming into today. And mistakes on the bases, mental errors, physical errors in the field. They have not squared up a whole lot of balls either. And they trail 6-0 with no outs in the top of the 6th. That's outside 2-2.
Yeah, Ivan, I watch about 160 baseball games a season for the last, 10-plus years. And I've seen way too often teams score double-digit runs and then just unable to score the next day.
That ball's popped up to the right side of the infield, shielding his eyes from the sun, the second baseman Bishop, and it's going to be the right fielder Aaron Hurd who takes charge of the situation and makes the catch. One out in the 6th inning, and it'll be Daniel Mata. He reached on an error on a ground ball where he shattered his bat in the 2nd, and he flew out to center in the 4th. Trying to do something with 1 out and nobody on base, and he's behind 0-1.
And not to take anything away from the Oregon Lumberjacks, but yesterday they were facing non-traditional pitchers, position players that Palm Springs Power threw out there.
0-2 the count. Comes up empty on a fastball.
But it is important to add that to the story.
And when we saw the Palm Springs Power lose their 2nd game in a row a moment ago against the A's. 0-2 breaking ball misses outside 1-2. But it goes to show how quickly things can change.
Yep,
We
absolutely.
talked about not that long ago how the Powers looked like one of the classes of the CWL. Now they've been struggling, and tough day for the Lumberjacks, who are red hot coming in. That's off the end of the bat, staying down on Snowden, the shortstop. He fires across to get Mata with plenty of time to spare.
Evan, it's going to come down to who is hot come February 13th, 14th as the playoffs start on the 16th.
This is an interesting situation where, of course, everyone makes the playoffs. You want to get everybody more at-bats. But if you win 3 games in a row, then you could be the 7th seed, or win 4 in a row if you're the 8th or 9th seed, and you can win the title. Taking inside is Puglielli. Reached on an error in the 4th. He's 0 for 2. So Lumberjacks trail 6-0 to the Bombers in the top of the 6th. Breaking ball's high, 1-1. The Bombers have been beneficiaries of a couple errors, some base running mistakes from the Jacks. Also a combined 10 walks and hit batters between Lumberjacks pitching. Here's the 2-0. Well, it's fairly sharply fouled on the third base line.
We hope you can join us tomorrow as the CWL action continues with 3 games. The Lumberjacks right here, and if the score holds, they're going to look to bounce back against the North Stars on the turf field.
2-1 breaking ball. It's taken for a strike. Puglielli thought that was high. He did not like the call.
The Blue Sox will take on the Palm Springs Power right here at the stadium at 10, and the British Columbia Bombers will play at the stadium once again. That's fouled back over the netting. Luckily, not hitting or coming too close to anyone, but it does roll down, and a fan hands it to a kid, as she'll get a round of applause as she gives the ball to the kid.
That's an exciting day at the ballpark, getting a ball as that fastball is fouled straight back.
So the British Columbia Bombers are going to be right back here at 12:30 against the Palm Springs Chill. We hope you can join us for that on the California Winter League YouTube channel.
We do have action in the Jacks bullpen. It's Chi Xuan Zhang getting warmed up. That ball's laced in the center field for a base hit. Schulafend over in the right center field to get it. 2-out base runner for the Jacks, only their 5th hit of the day. And at least a little bit of life in the 6th inning as they trail 6-0. We are going to have a pinch hitter. Katsuhisa Takamatsu will dig in, pinch hitting for Luke Fennelly. Kind of came running out of the dugout very, very quickly with a bat in his hand. He'll dig into the right-handed batter's box, and he takes the first pitch fastball inside 1-0.
94 miles per hour off the bat from Puglielli on that single into right center field.
It was a rocket.
Yes.
He's a short lead at first. Probably not going to see him running while you trail 6-0. So the last thing you want to do is make an out on the bases when you need base runners.
And boy, did we see some sloppy base running early on in this game. But it cleaned up after some conversations by both managers to their teams.
Well, there's still a little bit of ball game left, Joey. Have no fear. Breaking balls upstairs 3-0. Probably going to see a take sign. 3-0 the count to the pinch hitter, Katsuhisa Takamatsu. Puglielli looms over at first, having singled a moment ago. 2 outs, top of the 6th inning. It's been all Bombers today. So they lead 6-0. Takamatsu does take all the way, and it's a strike. 3-1 the count. Takamatsu is 2 for 11 with a double and 4 RBIs this season. This will be the 5th game that he's played in. That fastball was inside. It looks like it did get him right in the arm. Didn't come in all that quickly. I think that elbow guard proved to be pretty helpful as well. Puts men on first and second with 2 outs for the Lumberjacks. And it brings up Ronald Jackson. Jackson will bat for himself. He walked in the 2nd, singled in the 5th. He ended up being called out at 3rd for leaving the base early while attempting to tag up and score. Fullerton hops up and walks in front of the plate to give the signs to his infielders in case anyone takes off, which would be surprising to see. Lumberjacks trying to get on the board. They only have 4 outs to play with, and Jackson takes a fastball right down the chute for strike 1. Another beautiful, calm day in Palm Springs. We talked about a little bit of a windstorm out in the canyons in the distance and center. Looks like that's mostly resolved itself. The canyons are starting to come back into view again. That ball's lined in the left field for a base hit. It'll drop in front of Bruce. Rounding 3rd and scoring is Puglielli, and the Lumberjacks are on the board, ladies and gentlemen. It's a 6-1 ball game. Only the 6th hit of the day for the Jacks, finally showing a little bit of life in the top of the 6th inning.
Yeah, the Lumberjacks with a little bit of a 2-out rally here. Scott Combs, a catcher, looking to keep it going for Oregon.
Combs did single his last at bat in the 5th. He's 1 for 2. Single should score another. That ball's right off the helmet of Combs. He looks to be okay. It kind of got the top of his helmet. He was able to duck his head as that fastball was coming in. What's that, the 3rd time? 2nd time today we've seen a guy get hit in the helmet by a pitch. Broken bats, outs on the bases. It's been a wacky, kind of ugly ball game, but with some excellent pitching in the middle of it.
Yep. Tom Vaith goes out for a pitching mound visit.
It makes sense.
Yeah, bases loaded now for the 2nd consecutive inning for the Lumberjacks.
This is the 3rd inning where they've loaded the bases.
Mm-hmm.
Finally able to cash in with the single by Jackson a moment ago. And this game could get a lot more interesting very, very quickly. The tying run does loom on deck. And we do flip back to the top of the order. It's Churchill. He's 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch back in the third inning.
The first 2 batters forward face, he retired, but the next 4 reaching.
Swinging at the first pitch is Churchill, and he hits that one foul to the left side, deep into the parking lot.
A little early on that swing, Evan.
Fortunately, that was nowhere near my car, but someone else's car could be in trouble. 0-1 the count to Luke Churchill. The bases loaded, 2 outs. Jackson drove in the first run of the game for the Jacks. They trail at 6-1. It's off the end of the bat, fouled out of play this time to the right side. Sounded like it landed right at the top of the bleachers.
Nice job by Alexander Ford to get ahead of Churchill. Now you can throw anything in an 0-2 count.
Ford trying to work out of a jam and preserve a 5-run lead. His Bombers lead 6-1 in the top of the 6th. The tying run's on deck. The 0-2 fastball a little high. Didn't miss by much.
I like that pitch. Just upstairs trying to get a chase from Churchill. Able to lay off. Tough take there.
Shishwen Zhang continues to throw in the bullpen for the Jacks. Here's the 1-2. Big swing and a miss. Got Churchill out in front. That retires the side in the top of the 6th. Lumberjacks are able to push a run across, but for the 3rd time in this game, they leave the bases loaded. We're through 5.5 on the California Winter League YouTube. It's the Bombers 6 and the Lumberjacks 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just about set for the bottom of the 6th inning. The Bombers will look to add a little bit of insurance as they lead 6-1. It'll be Fullerton, Hurd, and Scout Knotts, the scheduled hitters. And we have a new pitcher, Shishwen Zhang, will take over. He was warming up in the bullpen throughout the previous inning. He issues a ball outside. Harrison Fullerton walked in the 2nd, reached on the fielder's choice in the 4th. He swings and hits that one foul out of play to the right side. Zhang, one of the 2 18-year-olds here in the CWL. His birthday was 2004. That makes me feel kind of old.
I know.
And I was only 98. It's not like I'm not terribly old by any means. This is Zhang's 6th game that he's pitched in. He's 2-0 with a .72 ERA. He has been effective. 9 2/3 innings, 11 strikeouts, only 1 walk. He's behind in the count 3-1 to Fullerton. 6-1 Bombers in the bottom of the 6th. Breaking ball, that one's chopped foul, trickling towards the Bomber dugout. Moves the count to 3-2. Zhang is a very interesting delivery. Kind of 3/4 to submarine arm slot from the right side. He kind of jumps at you. Very small frame, but that's a little low. Ball 4. Try the breaking ball. Big sweeping bender with that sidearm delivery. Now they'll bring up Aaron Hurd. He was hit by a pitch in the 2nd, lined out sharply into a double play to 3rd back in the 4th. Zhang also works exclusively out of the stretch. Bit of a slide spin. That ball's hit way up in the air to left center field. And it chases Fennelly back against the track. And he makes the catch on the edge of the warning track. That ball was up there forever. It looks like it caught some kind of jet stream in the air. It traveled like crazy.
I believe that was Takehisu Takumatsu who took over for Luke Fennelly in the last at-bat out there in center field, able to track that ball down.
Well, it was a very impressive play. He had a long way to go to get it because Hurd did put a charge into that ball.
Yes.
Brings up Scout Knotts, who takes a breaking ball at the knees, 0-1. Lumberjacks look to turn 2. With 1 out and a man on first in the bottom of the 6th inning. As they trail the Bombers 6-1. Another breaking ball. This one misses low. Bombers looking to move above 500. Coming to today 3-3-1. As that ball's trickled in front of home plate up the first base line. And a good play, underhand flip by Zhang. Moving up to second on the play is Fullerton. Now there's 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. That brings up Vincent Bruce. He walked and scored back in the 5th, struck out in the 2nd. Tom Baith has stayed with his starting lineup the entire way through. Outfield is playing medium deep, so a single should score a run. The first pitch is low and outside in the dirt.
Bruce is really young, too. He's only 20 years old.
Well, that's a bit of a more common age. Most of the guys here. I know we only have 2 18-year-olds. Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss. Got him out in front. Looked like it may be a changeup. Sounds like Bruce has a bit of his own cheering section. Getting some advice to stay back and be calm. Here's the 1-1. That breaking ball is off the hands, out to shallow center field. Heinrich is out and makes the call and the catch over his shoulder to retire the side. No runs, no hits, a man left for the Bombers. We're through 6 full at Palm Springs Stadium, and the Bombers lead 6-1. So Lumberjacks will take their last set of swings. Oh, it's the last chance for the Lumberjacks in the top of the 7th inning as they trail at 6-1 on the California Winter League YouTube. Jordan Schulfen will come in from center field to try and close out this game on the mound. He delivers a fastball outside to Champ Garner. It'll be Garner, Ishida, and Heinrich trying to get something going for the Jacks. Ball's fouled off to the third base side, and Garner is going to need a new piece of lumber. You knew it right away. He's trotting into the dugout. I think he has a bat in mind. Yep, he's gone into the dugout. We're used to seeing a player walk over there and direct his teammates, but he knew exactly what he wanted. This time, an all-black bat. The one he had before kind of had a lighter, kind of off-white barrel. This is Schulfen's 4th game on the mound. He's gone 6 innings, 2.33 ERA. So that ball's in there, 1-2 the count. 9 strikeouts, a couple walks. He's scouted 4 hits. Not a safe situation with the Bombers leading 6-1. The Jacks in danger of having their 4-game win streak snapped as Garner takes a called strike 3 on the outside corner. Must have been looking for something slow. A quick first out for Schulfen. Brings up Shinichiro Ishida. 0 for 2. He walked. Was caught stealing in the first. That ball is hit pretty well at the center field. It chases Darius Simple back, who just entered the game to take Schulfen's spot. He tracks it down and makes the catch as the wind all of a sudden is really picked up and is blowing out to center field.
Jordan Schulafan doing it all. He scored 2 of the runs for the Bombers. He was hitting in a leadoff spot, playing center field for the majority of this game. Now coming in, looking to close things out for the Bombers to secure a 6-1 lead over the 4-win streak Oregon Lumberjacks.
The Jacks are down to their final out. It's Jeff Heinrich. So he takes a breaking ball in there for strike 1. Heinrich is 0 for 3. Flew out to left in the second and a couple pop-ups since then. The 0-1 from Schulfen out of the windup. In there, 0-2. Good fastball.
Schulafan working quickly here in the 7th.
Well, he's not messing around.
No.
So the Jacks are down to their final strike. The 0-2 pitch off the hands, fouled straight back just to our right. We'll do it again. Bombers leading the Jacks 6-1. Schulfen trying to shut the door. He's retired the first 2 men in order. Bombers looking to move above 500 and snap the Jacks' 4-game winning streak. The 0-2 pitch is outside, 1-2. Mata waits on deck. It's a 1-2 count to Heinrich. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball, swung on and missed. Jordan Schulfen shuts the door on the Lumberjacks for the 2nd game of our matinee doubleheader, ladies and gentlemen. The Bombers come out on top by a score of 6-1. Only 4 hits put up on the board for the Bombers, taking advantage of 10 walks and hit batters on the part of the Lumberjacks, as well as a couple errors. Bombers able to move above 500. Now 4-3-1 on the season. Jacks have their 4-game win streak snapped. They drop to 5-3. Well, that's it for us on the California Winter League YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Evan Schmeiser on behalf of Joey Senna, signing off from Palm Springs Stadium. We'll see you all back here tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the first game of our doubleheader. Have a great rest of your day.